Greetings and salutations, fellow humanoids, and welcome back to our Let's Play series of Hearts of Iron 4 using the Road to 56 mod as the Kingdom of Italy, Episode 2. We're right where we left off, in which we are consolidating our forces and reworking the structure of our army. Now, the Spanish Civil War seems to have fired off just now, and I think we're going to be sending volunteers to help the nationalists out. One more thing. In the comments, it was asked to me to explain what the Road to 56 mod entails in the game, which is a good point that I should have brought up in the first episode. Now, the Road to 56 mod is an overhaul mod that I would call vanilla friendly, in which it expands the core gameplay of the game without necessarily altering it too much. Now, what it does is that it reworks many of the focus trees of nations, making them more interesting, such as Italy, for example, which has a obsolete focus tree in the vanilla version of Hearts of Iron 4. Many other nations that otherwise would not have a focus tree, such as, let's say, Albania, which would have the generic focus tree, has a dedicated focus tree. So it makes more nations interesting to play, since they have their own focus trees without having to wait for future DLCs from Paradox. One thing the mod also does is expand the research of the game quite a bit, making it go all the way to 1956 for the most part. In vanilla, Hearts of Iron 4 stops at 1944, and after that, research kind of just plateaus. Now, many research trees go all the way to 1954, 56, and whatnot. If you scroll down here, for example, seems that tech stops in 1954 for the most part. One thing the mod also does is that it adds various options in the Events and Decisions tab, which gives more uses for our political power. So basically, it kind of helps with the whole plateau of choices you get at the end game usually. It gives more uses for your army experience and political power, so that when you hit 1944, just about, you don't have to just bank it since you have nothing else to dedicate it to. Now you're going to have events and decisions pretty much throughout the whole game, and you're going to have research and focuses going throughout the entire game. So basically it expands the core gameplay and makes it last longer, I would say. But enough of that, let's look to the Spanish Civil War. Now how can you... let's see how many people we can send. We can send 3 divisions, which isn't half bad. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our buddy here, who has 3 Alpine divisions. I'm going to move the other ones into a separate army so that he only has 3. And we're going to be sending him to the Spanish Civil War. The reason I'm sending Mountaineers is not only are they commandos and they have a high priority to reinforce rates, thus equipment, but most of Spain is mountains, so they'll perform quite well over there. Let's send them. I also ticked the send Air Force to help out, so we could send planes. Once our boys arrive, we'll see how many planes we could send to help them out. This will help not only the war effort for the nationalists, but it will also help us grind some XP. It isn't the worst thing if the nationalists lose the Civil War, but it would be good if we could count on them in the future. Hopefully they won't join the Axis, because we might have to take them out. Hello, this is new. Kingdom of Norway declares armed neutrality. The Kingdom of Norway has decided it's for the best if the country once more strives for neutrality like it did back in the Great War. It is the Norwegian government's hope that this will once more avoid bringing harmful conflict to the Norwegian people's doorstep. The question remains, can the Kingdom of Norway trust the world to respect this neutrality? And leadership purges in the USSR. Now, this is the historically friendly Stalin purge. And certainly has long reigned in the Soviet Union Socialist Republics. While details are scarce, there has been a series of secret trials on the highest level, and both generals and ministers have disappeared from the public eye. The natural assumption is that some great conspiracy has been uncovered within the Communist Party, but no official statement has been made. In addition, the diplomat reports we have access to indicate that evidence presented at these trials has been far from indisputable. Whatever has been happening, the structure of the Soviet High Command has changed irrevocably. Evidence of the corruption inherent in communism. Now this means that the Russians will be suffering from the Great Purge debuff for a while, which severely hampers their effectiveness on the field. So if Germany, for example, invades them until this debuff is gone, they'll be at a disadvantage. Alright. Our volunteers are arrived to help in the Spanish Civil War. Let's see if we can't help cut off this port here. Let's go for increase in north-south links, because I would like to get the finance annex to get more synthetic resources research speed. We're going to want to increase our oil production significantly soon.
Pronto, signore.
Alright, we cut off this port. Let's see if we can't take it completely. And we got the port. Beautiful. We'll be able to get an encirclement on these guys. Alright, we're already doing our part. Let's see if we can win the war for this, for the nationalists.
Pronto. Pronto, signore.
Alright, one more pocket to close.
Pronto, signore.
Let's let our men spread out. Give a little planning bonus right here, which increases our attack and breakthrough. And push in. And our Alpine divisions are doing great. There's another pocket we could close. Let's actually make sure it doesn't get opened up here. Let's move over here. Redeploy over here. Ooh. Actually, stop right here, mates. We got another pocket here that's trying to break out.
Pronto all'azione.
Let's not give them the opportunity. Got a construction speed bonus. We'll keep this for when we get the focus. Let's get some excavation to potentially get more resources out of our country. Murder of the Rosselli brothers. Carlo Rosselli and Sebastiano Rosselli, two exile anti-fascist activists who notably participated in the Spanish War alongside the Republicans, were murdered by the French organization La Cagoule while they were in Bagnoles de l'Orno, Normandy, to be treated for the phlebitis they had caught during their flight to Spain. I don't even know what phlebitis is, a disease of some sort. They had notably founded the Giustizia e Libertà movement alongside other anti-Mussolini exiles, in particular Republicans with ideas ranging from liberalism to socialism. Unacceptable. Paris Universal Exhibition. France is proud to launch with great fanfare the Universal Exhibition in 1937 in Paris. About 101 hectares and 44 countries offer 104 2010 pavilions around the theme of arts techniques applied to modern life. Nearly 32 million visitors will rush to come. At the time, Paris will retain the Chaillot Palace, the Palace of Discovery, and the Palais de Tokyo. The spirit and the new art triumph everywhere. The world wants to believe for a moment that the exhibition will finally bring together everything that unites men. What strikes the spirits is both monumental Soviet and German pavilions facing to challenge each other. One with a statue of 25 meters of worker and coal-caused woman brandishing a sickle and a hammer, the other by a monumental sculpture of an eagle holding a swastika in his talons. Yikes. A huge global success, if not a little bit awkward.
Si, signore.
Provisional state of Libya. Libya, not yet. We will be making a small little puppet out of Greece, however. Let's see here. So, if I'm not mistaken, yes, we have a small island here for roads. Let's create a collaboration government there. There we go. We now have a small little puppet here, and we don't have much use for this island, except maybe for strategic value, but we're gonna have a puppet here, so he's gonna go through his own focus tree, and he's gonna be expanding that small island quite a bit. He's gonna be turning this tile into something quite valuable. So either we could set up a puppet here and give him all of Greece if ever we take it, or we could simply re-annex it later once they've developed the island quite a bit.
Ordini.
Looks like we got some Soviet Alpine divisions as well. Let's get some heart attack on our infantry. That always helps. Alright, we're done with the north and south links. Let's get us Finance Annick, which will give us research bonuses for synthetic resources. Very valuable for us. You have enough political power to get a new advisor or something of the sort. Gonna get the light tank designer. The reason why is that we want to churn out a lot of light tanks for our recon companies, and minus 15% production cost is significant.
Pronto, signore.
Let's get a sniper team to increase the soft attack of our recon companies, makes them even better. Alright, we got some free dockyards, meaning that we're almost at the end of our pre-established queue at the start of the game. So let's see what we can make in terms of submarines. So this is going to be our basic submarine template, nothing too special about it. But we're going to start with this, and we're going to run our way up the various ship classes until we make it to the biggest ones in the long run. So for now, let's just set up this line of submarines, and we're going to make them go straight to the Sea Wolves fleet.
Forza, muovetevi!
The enemy's pushing pretty darn hard.
Preparatevi!
Let's pull here before we get encircled.
Avanzate!
Guys, push back down.
Avanzate!
I'm going to try and close these pockets to help up north. That should be our priority. Ah. And the anarchists have broken out. That may help us a little bit. It will relieve some pressure off of the nationalists and put some more onto the Republicans to the south. Anarchist uprising and the Spanish Civil War. Continued government attempts at reasserting the centralized control over the mostly independently acting anarchist communes in northeastern Spain, as well as Stalinist repression of dissident communist viewpoints, has now led to full-blown infighting in the Republican front. Initially limited to street fighting and low-scale clashes between militias and government, or Stalinist forces, the unwillingness for either side to compromise has meant the conflict has rapidly escalated in just a few days. The reallocation of military resources to deal with this internal threat means the front lines against the nationalists has been noticeably weakened. The Republicans hardly need outside assistance to lose. Alright, let's set our Alpine divisions here. Let's see if we can't help these boys out. And push. That should give the necessary oomph to finish off this pocket.
Andiamo!
Push, boys. One thing that the Road to 56 mod that adds that I really like too is the reserve transfer option, which at the cost of command power gives you a reinforce bonus rate of 200%, basically reinforcing your units much faster, which is great. Wait a second, these units are retreating into France. That's a problem. We may not be able to break them if that's the case. I guess they have military access. That they do. Damn French. Alright, we got our synthetic oil refineries. Let's go with increased Fiat's presence in the south, which gives us 4 factories. 2 mills, 2 civies. Beautiful. We just researched delay, which increases our organization by quite a bit. Now let's increase our mobile defense here, which will give us a large bonus to defense and the elastic defense tactic. Very good. Alright, we broke that tile. Excellent. That was a lot tougher than it should have been, the reason being that the Spanish have access, military access, in France, so they could just pull back behind their lines and regroup down the line somewhere else. So we could not just encircle them, unfortunately. Let's move our boys here. Ooh, adaptable. This is a very good trait right here. Terrain penalty reduction 30% and increases our acclimatization rate.
Si, signore.
Push, damn you. There you go. Boom. That's all she wrote. Oh, damn it. Alright, so the Carlists have broken out into civil war as well. Now the Spanish Civil War is a four-way fustercluck. What happened here? So the Portuguese Republic has gotten involved into the war, it would seem. And their border color has changed as well, making it all the more difficult to tell them apart. Now, it seems that since the very nature of our allies has changed, our volunteers were sent back. So we're going to have to send volunteers again once they make it back home, because the very identity of the nation we were helping out changed. Now we're going to help out the Spanish Directory, which is fascist, but we'll have to wait for our guys to come back first. Now there's a Carlist uprising in the Spanish Civil War. Wary of being increasingly sidelined and having their influence over the nationalist front more and more curtailed, the Carlist forces under Manuel Falconde have renounced their affiliation with the nationalist cause, declaring their own independent insurrection. Carlist Requete, predominantly in the north of the country, have turned on their erstwhile allies, while at the same time continuing the fight against their Republican enemies. The effects on their military position in the Civil War are being downplayed by the nationalist leadership, but it's evident that the current chaos presents ample opportunity to the Republicans. This is getting complicated. Yeah, the Spanish Civil War is quite the salad. Excavation 2. Alright, let's go for some oil processing right here. Let's queue up some synthetic refineries. We're going to need quite a few down the line. Alright, our volunteers are back. Now let's send more volunteers. Just got back for a little bit of R&R. Off you go again. You have enough political power for another advisor of sorts. Let's go for Machi to get some good fighter planes. I would have liked to have top-notch dive bombers, but there isn't one that increases the effectiveness of our close air support, unfortunately. Alright, we have enough XP. Let's increase our template for the mounted police. And it was suggested to me to call the mounted police the Royal Italian Mounted Police, i.e. the RIMP. Too early to boost that. We're definitely going to be going down the Special Forces route, since as Italy we're going to have a significant Alpine Ranger Special Forces unit. Our units have made it in Galicia.
Comandi. Pronto all'azione.
That unit down there is very
Pronto
weak.
all'azione.
Let's see if we can't snatch that port from under them.
Ordini.
Got a few new military factories, very nice. Let's increase our field artillery to 5 and our support equipment. You have to stay on top of support equipment because it's produced at a very slow rate. And if you don't keep an eye on it, you may find yourself at a serious deficit. Let's go with Follow Pariani's plan. The reason why it gives 2 research bonuses of 100% to superior firepower, the doctrine we're going for. So this will help with our research down the line.
Forza, forza! Avanzate! Andiamo!
Got your port.
Pronto!
Let's see if we can't grab their capital from
Pronto
under them.
all'azione! Andiamo!
Be careful not to get encircled here.
Comandi. Si, signore.
Oh yeah.
Avanzate!
You have to be careful not to lose this port, however.
Avanzate!
We now have more dockyards, however we don't have any decent templates quite ready, so in the meantime we'll put them on submarines. One thing we will do is put all these together and let's exercise our navy a bit to get some naval XP to work on some templates. And boom, 2 templates dead.
Ordini!
Let's redeploy here.
Avanzate!
Got Burgos, the capital of the Carlists. Very nice. Start increasing production on light tanks as well. Beautiful. We got basic oil processing. That's going to take a while. Let's go for fuel refining, which also increases our fuel gain quite a bit. Alright, the Carlists are not doing well. It's to our advantage. Let's see if we can't cut them in half. It's going to be difficult. They keep reinforcing that tile. We got we got military factories pouring in, which is amazing. Let's start a line of fighter planes. I'm gonna need a lot of those to take on Germany, and I doubt we will have the production capacity to keep up, but we're still gonna need some. We get a lot of political power as Italy, which is great. It allows us to organize our cabinet quite quickly. Can we get an infantry specialist? Yes, always want that. The Anschluss of Austria. Ooh, things are getting interesting here. So at any moment, we might get a event which enables us to form a faction and go to war against Germany. We have to be ready for that. So the Empire of Japan has abandoned the naval treaty. That might make it dissolve itself eventually. We'll see. And broken. Nice. Come on. Alright, we got a massive encirclement in progress right here. Let's expand the Taranto Steelworks. Taranto, one of the largest cities in the south and one of the most important in economic terms, particularly due to the presence of numerous iron and steel foundries. It would be interesting to seek to develop this sector, which we will need not only for our army, but for the overall development of Mezzogiorno. So 2 military factories, 16 steel production in that area of Calabria, and we get 1 research bonus for steel production technologies. That's a very strong focus. So yeah, I really like what they did with the focus tree for Italy in this mod.
Si, signore.
You have to be careful not to get encircled here, as we try to encircle the enemy.
Avanzate!
Alright, let's pull back 1 tile here.
Avanzate!
There goes the Carlist army, pretty much.
Avanzate!
However, things are getting hot against the Republicans here. Portugal is helping in the south, thankfully. That takes some pressure off of us. Let's pull back here. Let's see. Let's get a little bit more planes. And let's start getting more cannons out the line. We need more artillery guns. A lot more artillery guns. Japan has declared war on China. Yet again, we have 150 political power. So let's see what we can get here. Let's go for the raiding fleet designer. We won't be using capital ships that much. And carriers I'll probably not use at all, but it's very good for submarines and screens, which will help quite a bit. The Brazilian Socialist Republic dissolved its faction? Excuse me? Unable to find diplomatic partners, the Brazilian government has announced that it will no longer search to lead an international coalition, therefore open to diplomatic openings in order to join a stronger alliance. This development will certainly attract the attention of various chancelleries. Foreign diplomats are likely to already work in order to sway Luis Carlos Prestes and his government. Interesting. Interesting indeed. So, if I understand correctly, yeah, Brazil went communist, although it has a very small communist influence in its government. These boys are all veterans now. Yeah, that makes them very effective on the battlefield. Seems that the nationalists really don't have that many divisions to their name, sadly. Nope. They don't have enough divisions to hold the line. That is not good. So the naval treaty is abrogated. With the outbreak of war, the Lithuanian government has officially informed the remaining signatories of the London Naval Treaty that under Article 24, it considers the restrictions of the naval treaty to be no longer in the national interest. The Lithuanian ambassador has therefore announced that the naval treaty will be suspended for the duration of the war. Whether the restrictions will return into force after the war is over remains to be seen, but for the time being we should consider ourselves no longer bound by the treaty obligations when it comes to designing and building ships. Oh, what's going on here? It seems that Germany has declared war on Czechoslovakia and Romania and France has jumped on the boat. Interesting. We're kind of missing the ship though, so we're gonna have to see about that. All right, let's look into rubber plants because we will have a lack of rubber in the future. The Taranto Steelworks has been expanded. Now let's go for prepare the economy for war, which will give us 2 military factories. It leads to other juicy stuff. This is not good. Portugal's getting eaten. Things are looking bleak. How's Germany doing against France, Romania, and Czechoslovakia at the same time? Let's get some flamethrowers, which will give a large bonus in attack to our engineer companies. We're doing a number on these units attacking us.
Forza, forza!
Okay, we should start folding back before we get encircled over here.
Fermatevi! Pronto, signore.
So usually when a civil war isn't going my way, what I'll do is that I'll try and grab a defensible position and I'll put my troops there so that they can hold out until our side capitulates, because I don't want to get encircled after all. So let's hold Bilbao here. Make this key port hold until the end of the war, at least on our end. Yep. The nationalists are collapsing in Spain, unfortunately. Let's send an attaché. So, sending a military attaché will give us a chunk of the XP that Japan gets on the field. It will make Japan a little bit more effective as well, and it also gives us intel as to where their troops are. Oh. Let's see, so China is complaining. Too bad. And we captured a British operative. We have ways of making you talk. Do we actually? Yeah, let's get some interrogation techniques. Alright, we got a few units of militia here. Let's form a coastal guard. These units will be used to guard our key ports.
Attento.
Let's make sure to garrison... Oops.
Formazione.
Make sure to garrison pretty much our entire country here.
Attento.
As for our army names, let's go with the 1st PNF Legion. Partito Nacional Fascista, if I'm not mistaken. That's the name of our political party.
Comandi.
Alright. Let's go with our boy Italo Balbo here for a 2nd Legion in the making.
Ordini?
Oh, the capital of the nationalists is now Bilbao. That's no good. Let's send him back to La Coruna over here.
Avanzate!
Our implication in this war is pretty much over.
Continuate l'attacco!
We are leaving our friends to dry in this case.
Avanzate!
So, basically, I don't want to give my attention too much to this losing war, and I want to focus on what's going on in mainland Europe right here. We can make a little puppet out of, was it here? Zara, I do believe? Yeah, let's make a collaboration government out of Croatia. Italian Croatia, which sounds kind of weird, but okay. Alright, set some new construction queues since we're pretty much done in the first one. I will not be doing any dockyards yet. We won't be needing much naval power, especially if we go to war against Germany. And Turkey has remilitarized the Straits. Republic of Turkey and the USSR have come to an agreement of revising the Treaty of Lausanne, which was signed and implemented after the nascent Republic of Turkey repulsed the Entente in the Turkish War of Independence. The treaty has long been decried as an assault on Turkish sovereignty, but today the treaty has finally amended in favor of the newly legalized Montreux Convention. The Republic of Turkey now has complete control over traffic that passes in and out of the Turkish Straits, and the states around the Straits have now been remilitarized by the Republic of Turkey. British observers who are part of the process are merely satisfied that the conflict in the region has been avoided. Another treaty of the war broken. And the Portuguese Republic was puppeted by the Democrats. Unfortunate. At this rate, we're going to be the only fascist boy around. Maybe it's all part of the plan, folks. Gonna need a lot more military factories here. Danzig international crisis. Polish state is demanding that the League of Nations settle a dispute over the free city of Danzig, claiming that Polish access to the sea is in jeopardy due to interference from Danzig territories. Polish state has asked that Danzig's free international city status be revoked and for Polish forces to occupy the city. Vote that Poland can occupy. We're not siding with Germany. We've got our new model tank here, the L6. Now let's get to upgrading. Let's increase the effectiveness of our basic guns. Want to make our infantry as effective as possible, as it makes the bulk of our army. Now let's see here. At a quick glance, we're going to need to take quite a few nations if we want to realize the Roman ambition, which is almost ludicrous in size. We have to go all the way up to Holland, which is here. I also need Brabant. Which parts of Germany would we need? Doesn't look like we would need all that many parts of Germany. We need Tyrol, which is part of southern Austria here.
Signore! Ritiratevi!
It would seem that our volunteer forces are not being retransferred back to home. That's the problem. Maybe it's just being delayed. Let's hope it's the case, because we need these boys back. It's 3 elite units. How are we on steel? We're good on steel for now, so we're not going to go for the Po Valley's metallurgy quite soon, but when we're low, we could go for that. One thing I was thinking of doing is either reworking once again the backbone of the party, or going towards the more political side of the tree. Maybe we've got to it a little bit late, actually. but there may be some gain here, especially in the terms of monthly population war support. Let's rework the backbone of the party. I feel it's too late for the political side of things. Once we go through, like, leave the League of Nations and establish back, there's a whole bunch of focuses that are going to be skipped, most likely, which is fine with me. High Command loyalty. Our efforts to strengthen the ideas of the High Command enable us to ensure the latter's unfailing loyalty. Seems simple enough. Increases our logistics, which is good, and increases the starting logistics of all future leaders. Not bad.
Continuate ad avanzare.
Unfortunately, seems like our boys are doomed. This is really unfortunate. And annoying. That should have not happened. That being said, I think this is where I'm going to leave the episode. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Don't forget to join us in the new one. Until then, everybody, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, and I'll see you around. Bye now.